Steroids are legal in jiu-jitsu. The only place they're not legal is in IBJJF, where they started testing after I had won the Worlds. But I never competed in IBJJF when steroids were legal. I never competed in any event where steroids were illegal. Steroids are legal, so why wouldn't you use steroids? Do you need steroids to be the best athlete in the world? No, I don't think so. I think that I could have done all this natural and I could have been the best in the world without steroids. I don't believe that you need steroids to be the best in the world. What I do believe is that you need steroids to be the best version of yourself as an athlete. There are always going to be performance enhancers. All right, that's just the truth of it. But the industry for beating steroid tests is a multi-billion-dollar operation. Like, you have the country of Russia, the country of China, the country of America hiring doctors to beat these tests. Guys are competing in the NFL, in their late 30s, 40s, with traps from their AC joints up to their ears. Do you think those guys are natural? Are you out of your mind? When you have testing, especially in a sport like MMA, for example, where the lowest level guys aren't really paid that much money. So you have a guy who just gets to the UFC and he's making 10 and 10. You got to pay for all the expenses. You got to bring in training partners. You got to pay for your coaches. You got to fly the coaches out sometimes. There's a lot of expenses that go into this. So those guys won't have the resources or the money to hire the doctors necessary to beat the test. So those guys are natural. The guys at the top who are making millions of dollars, those guys will always have or part of the big teams will always have the resources and money available to them to hire the doctors to help them beat the tests. And the whole purpose of steroid testing is so that you don't have natural athletes competing against unnatural athletes. But you get that anyways, because the guys at the bottom can't afford to or don't have the resources to beat the test, and the guys at the top do have the resources. You should be able to use steroids because regardless of what the rules are, guys are going to be using steroids anyways. You have the UFC that tests for steroids, and nobody else tests for steroids. I'm competing in the UFC, and I have to be natural all year round because they're random testing me under their drug testing program, so that when I have to go face that guy, and that guy is sauced out of his mind, and then you have natural athletes competing against juiced up athletes anyway. The PEDs allow you to recover faster. They allow you to be stronger, to be faster. Ultimately, fans want to see the best athletes in the world. That level will be increased if the guys can use performance-enhancing drugs. They can also compete longer. So you can see your favorite athlete compete longer, and they can do it healthier because of the fact that they can recover from injuries faster,